Well, now, everybody, if you don't know Paul, you're about to know Paul. Um, great pleasure and honour to introduce Paul McVeigh, whose debut novel, A Good Son, has been an absolute triumph. Shortlisted for Not the Booker, huge international and national attention. Paul began his writing career as a playwright, and began to write short stories and be involved at a really important stage with the Word Factory a few years ago. And his stories have been broadcast on Radio 5 and Radio 4. He's a great friend to everybody who has come through the Word Factory and will in fact be one of our mentors next year. And we will have 4 mentors and 4 apprentices. So if you do know anybody who would really love to work with us and get one-on-one tuition and be part of everything we're doing, please do go to our website or talk to us, and we'll explain about that scheme. But this is a wonderful book, elements of which we heard as part of a short story a few years ago. It's a great achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul McVeigh.
Thank you. Really moved by your reading. Really deeply touched by it. I think it was just a stunning piece of writing, and I feel a bit embarrassed actually standing here after that. Really stunning. Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for introducing me so beautifully. Kathy and I are really good friends, and we've worked together for a long time, and someone I really admire a lot. I love this building as well, and when I was walking down from Green Park Station, I found myself walking a wee bit lighter, just knowing that I was coming here. I just love it in here. I wonder if they'd just give me a wee room. I wouldn't even need a room, just make maybe a little corner with a couple of chairs and I don't even need a TV or anything, or even heating. I'd just say...
We are slowly taking over.
Yeah. I'd maybe just bring a wee overnight bag the next time I'm here. So this is called The Good Son. It took a wee while to write it, actually, and I'm very glad that it's finally out in the world. So I'll read some of it for you. The only thing you need to know is that it's written in the voice of a 10-year-old boy. So if I sound a bit childish, it's intentional. Okay. I was born the day the troubles started. Wasn't I, ma, says me. It was you that started them, son, says she, and we all laugh, except our Paddy. Now, I'd put that down to his pimples and his general ugliness. It must be hard to be happy when you've a face like that. I almost feel sorry for him. I spy a dirty big love bite on his neck, and I store this ammunition to defend myself against future attacks. Excuse me. Steamy, flowery-smelling disinfectant fills my nose and joins the sweet-tasting Frosties in my mouth as Ma passes with the tin bucket and the yard brush. Ma only cleans the yard when something's up, and that would be my da as usual. Do you want a hand, Mummy, says me. No, son, says she, disappearing out the back. She didn't even look at me. I'm worried about her after last night. Do you want a hand? Our Paddy says in a girl's voice. You wee lick. I'm telling my mummy and you, I say. I'm telling my mummy and you. Our Paddy mimics me. I look at my wee Maggie and I give her the we just hate him, don't we look. She gives me the yes we do, he's a big fat pig look back. I was taught how to give looks by a monk on Cave Hill. I was trained like a Jedi Knight, but my lightsaber was my actual face. My mission to defend myself and all weaklings and youngest ones and families against the evil that is older brothers. Wee Maggie is now my disciple, and to test her telepathy training, I send her, don't worry about him because he's going to be knocked down by a car, then a lorry will run over his head, making his eyes pop out. Wee Maggie smiles. She got it. I think we're actually twins, born years apart in some super CIA genetic test tube type experiment. Paddy gets up, leaving his dirty bowl on the table like he's King Farouk. Don't you believe that from my mummy, I say. Mummy's boy, says he. Shut up, you, I say. At least I don't have a dirty big love bite. Wee Maggie laugh chokes and the Frosties shoot from her mouth onto Paddy's jumper, just like that wee girl in The Exorcist I saw at the Pope John Paul II Youth Club. That's your fault, you wee gay boy, our Paddy slaps me across the head. I try to kick him, but my shin hits the table leg. Paddy laughs, wiping his jumper, and you're supposed to be the smart one. Grammar school, away on, says he. I'm smarter than you, Dumbo, I say. And by the way, does your girlfriend like sucking the pimples on your neck? Well, Paddy dives at me and he trails me off the chair by the jumper. Mommy, I shout out the backyard. What? My ma screams, and the house trembles like when bombs go off. Paddy lets go, because not even Muhammad Ali would mess with our ma. Nothing, Mummy, I shout out the back, and Paddy grabs his blazers from the back of the chair and heads off. I raise my eyebrows and smile at wee Maggie like victory is mine. There's mess on Ma's good table. I run to the sink, wet the cloth, and rush back before Ma comes in and kills somebody. Somebody equals me. Even though I'm the good son in the family, I get the blame if wee Maggie does anything wrong because she's the youngest one and I look after her. Wee Maggie could set me on fire and Ma would kick my head in for letting our Maggie near matches. Wiping the table, I see my reflection in the smoked glass. I look like a black baby we do collections for at school. I usually give them creamed rice. We get tins free from the community centre because we're poor. And because somewhere there's a place called Food Mountain made from tins of creamed rice and corned beef. I think it's in Switzerland. One day I will be president of all Ireland. I will be so kind and good. I will bring black babies to Belfast where they can have free food for poor people and they will live in the new houses like they're building at the bottom of our street. I've only ever seen black people on the TV apart from the ones starving in Africa. There's the ones America stole to make slaves, which isn't very nice. But at least they give them some clothes, because you wouldn't be allowed to walk around America with no clothes on. Or Belfast. Maybe if you lived with the Protestants. I've only seen them on the TV too. Mickey, stop spacing out, wee Maggie tugs me. You're going to be late for school. I throw the cleaning cloth in the sink and I run through the living room, up the stairs, tiptoe into the room because I don't want to wake up Da. Ma took him back in when he hammered the door in the middle of the night. He brought men with him. I listened from the top of the stairs. I told Paddy I heard Da crying and they were talking about money and the men said they'd come back today. Paddy thought Da wasn't coming back this time, but Da always comes back. I don't know why our Paddy even bothers trying to think, God bless him. I grab my school bag and I run down the stairs into the kitchen. Ma, I'm away on, I shout out to the yard. Did you get washed? Ma shouts back. Aye. I look at wee Maggie through the doorway, pretend to pick my nose and wipe it on my jumper. She laughs into her hand because she thinks I'm like one of them from the TV, you know, like Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello. We play them sometimes. She says it's not fair that we don't play any girl funny ones. But I say it's not my fault that girls aren't funny. Because if they were, wouldn't they be on the TV? I get on my horse and I ride him, dodging the chair and the table, swerve around the half-open door into the living room sideward, round my dad's chair and past the sofa. Champion, no wonder horse, I sing, saluting the TV. I gallop out the front door. Wee Maggie's running after me. Don't be doing that in the street, Mickey, says she. Like she's the one that looks after me. I'm not stupid, I say. Go on you, and I push her back into the living room. The waste ground in front of me the waste ground in front of the house becomes an open prairie, and the owl half knocked down houses to the right are now an abandoned gold rush mining town in the Wild West, and I ride champion off into the sunset. Mr. Donnelly, what time do you call this? Says Mr. McManus. I'm in the doorway looking at my feet. Sorry, sir. He's a funny frigger, Mr. McManus, because he's saying that, but I know he doesn't care due to my telepathic abilities. A power like mine comes in very handy, so you know when somebody's really being real. He's just pretending to be annoyed, so I'm pretending to be sorry. Go and sit down, Donnelly, says Mr. McManus, going back to his reading. There's The Hard Man, starring Twin Macaulay, Big Twin Macaulay, and Monkey Marker Lane. It's a film about stupid people, how they do bad at school and beat the shit out of everybody that's got a brain cell. Coming to a cinema near you. Wee Twin is staring at me while chewing a straw from our bottles of milk. And he must have nicked it, because we haven't even had our milk yet. And that's the kind of bad thing that he does. He's shooting pure hatred at me from his good eye. The other is pointing towards our display of Carrickfergus Castle. The bendy eye followed a bullet that grazed his face and decided not to come back. Well, so would I if I was his eye, having to look at that face in the mirror. And there it... Making me laugh now. And then, sorry, a nurse. Sean Close, status report. Sean Close, a.k.a. Helmet Head, under observation. Moved into my street last month. Posh, therefore probably a Protestant double agent. Who's ever heard of a posh Catholic? He has no mates. He thinks he's great. My conclusion, I hate him. Helmet gets left alone because somebody tried to beat him up on his first day and he kicked their head in with karate. Definitely suspicious. A Protestant child spy trained in kung fu? I wouldn't put it past them. Toilet, sir? I stand up. You shouldn't interrupt someone, Mr. Donnelly. It's very rude, says sir. I'm desperate. I squeeze my dick like pee is about to explode out of it. Like you should have gone ages ago and that's really killing you, like that. Oh, I'm in agony. Oh, God, I'm going to die. Hold on, I'm only acting. I actually believed myself there. I'm not good. I should actually be an actor, I think. Sir waves me out like a bored king. In the corridor, the class doors are open and the teachers look out as I run past. At Mrs. O'Halloran's, I slow down and I look in, because we've got a secret, me and Mrs. O'Halloran. She looks up and smiles. Well, if it isn't Michael Donnelly. Come in a wee moment, she coos at me like a dove. I'm in love with Mrs. O'Halloran. I was the only one she got to take her notes to Mr. McDermott. She used to call me her wee currant bun. Her wee pet, she'd say. She said I was different. Not like the other boys. I bought her a necklace on my last day in her class. It cost me 1 whole 50p. It has a little golden heart on the back. It said, I love you. Now, class, I want you all to have a look at Mr. Michael Donnelly, says she, her arm on my shoulder, making my skin all fizz. He is one of, in fact, he is the finest pupil ever to come out of Holy Cross Boys. I am completely scundered. I take a massive reddener and my face is burning like a slapped arse. St. Malachy's Grammar School. It doesn't surprise me at all. You see, class, this is what you can achieve at this school with hard work and determination. She beams at me. It's supposed to be a secret. But I guess it doesn't matter if the wee ones know. And she's right too. I am determined. I've got a plan. Get away from this school. Get smart. Get to America. Get rich. Bring wee Maggie and Mummy over to live with me in my penthouse. Thank you, Mrs. O'Halloran, says me in my good boy voice. Just to prove to her class she's right about me. You'll be sorely missed around here, she says, smiling. She whispers, make sure you come back and see me before you leave today, won't you? Yes, Mrs. O'Halloran, says me. And I'm completely on fire like a human petrol ball. I kick the leg of her desk and then I smile and I speed walk out of there. I do want to grow up and make all my dreams come true, but mostly I just want to be back in P3 with Mrs. O'Halloran. I get back to class. Mr. McManus is there with Mr. Brown, the head. Donnelly, come here, says Mr. Brown, and I do, because he's one scary specimen. I've never actually been in trouble in school, because I'm a good boy. Can't be about the writing, must be about St. Malachy's. Mr. Brown said it was best not to tell the other boys, and he finished the sentence with the look, if you want to get out of here alive, son. Mr. Brown is whispering to Mr. McManus, looking very serious. I stand by the windows looking out at the tarmac, playground covered in glass, and splats of colour from the paint bombs the hard men throw over the walls at night. Reflected in the window, I see Mr. McManus, hand over his mouth, staring at his feet. Mr. Brown has one hand in his pocket and the other is rubbing his baldy head. Something's wrong. It's like one of those scenes in a film where someone's being told bad news while the music plays and we know what they're saying, even if we can't hear the words. Usually the hero's being told he's terminally ill or his parents have died in a car crash. We don't have a car, so follow me, says Mr. Brown, and I do, but look round at Mr. McManus, who's staring at me like I've got leukemia. I did have a nosebleed last Christmas. I feel a bit dizzy. At the end of the corridor, Mr. Brown's office door is open and he walks in and I wait. I'm in my hospital bed. The whole family are kneeling by me crying. I raise myself to say, I forgive you all. Even you, Paddy. And I smile, touching his head, and then I die. Come in, Michael, says Mr. Brown, which is the first time in 7 years he's actually called me by my first name. Holy shite. My man are here in their Sunday clothes. This is getting far too TV. Sit down, son, says Da, all nice. Hopefully, Mr. Brown can't smell. Hello there. Hello, Mr. Brown can't smell. Sorry about that. Last night's drink under Da's Polaminti's breath. I sit in the empty chair. Michael, I know we've spoken about the offer from St. Malachy's, and I want to assure you that we're extremely proud of you here at Holy Cross, says Mr. Brown, fidgeting with his papers. You're a big boy now, Michael. And there's some things that you just have to understand. He folds his fingers like a cat's cradle and taps the knotted bunch on the desk. He takes a deep breath. Michael, your mum and dad have asked me to talk to you, son, to help you understand that Mama coughs and she shifts in her chair and looks at the floor. Unfortunately, Michael, you're not able to go to St. Malachy's. Mr. Brown's mouth moves, but there's no sound. Concentrate, Mickey, don't space out. I hear something about 5 years and trips and uniforms and books and 2 buses there and 2 buses back. But I love buses, I say. And I'm looking at my ma to back me up, but she's staring at Mr. Brown, who gets up from his seat and plays with the blinds all the way talking. My breathing is loud in my ears, and I keep missing what he's saying, like when our Paddy turns the sound up and down in the telly just to annoy me. Your mummy and daddy can't afford it, Michael. They feel terrible, Mr. Brown says. My ma's face is purple, and she's not going to say anything. And whatever's jamming the sound in my head is messing with my powers. Now you'll be able to go to St. Gabriel's just like Paddy, Da smiles, putting his disgusting orangey brown, fag-burnt fingers on my shoulders. He means wear Paddy's old uniforms like I've done my whole life. Paddy's old everything, even his bloody trunks. I look at Da and know with absolute certainty this man is not my father. Just as I know by the smallness of his eyes that this is all his fault, because everything bad that ever happens to our family is because of him. We'll see ourselves out, sir, says Da, holding out his hand, acting like he doesn't want to cause any trouble when that's all he's ever done. You can take Michael home with you, help him through the transition, says Mr. Brown. No, sure, he'd rather be here playing with his friends, wouldn't you, son, says Da. Friend, I have one friend. That's how much he knows. And no, actually, sir, I'd like to go home, I say. No problem, says Mr. Brown, looking pale and walking fast out the door. I'll get your school bag. Silence. We stare out the window and watch the sun come out from a big, fuzzy felt cloud. All 3 of us squint and we turn away and making sure we don't catch each other's eyes. I, starts my da. Mickey, he sighs into the sandpaper shuffle of his hand along his stubble. I've got a big surprise for you. It's coming tonight, son. I look at that stupid grin in his face. I check my ma, she hasn't a bloody clue. He's a big liar. Ma nods to me, then towards Da, her eyes opening wide. This means, please, Mickey, play along with your da for me, because you know what'll happen to me if you don't. And okay, Ma, for you. I know we've got no money, and I would never scunder her about it. A big surprise? Wow, I say, like some kid in the TV. I look out the window. Then it descends upon me like the Holy Spirit. It's a dog, isn't it, Daddy? Oh, I'm so happy. This makes up for everything. I won him. I smile at my ma like I've no idea what I've just done. She said no to a dog since I was 5. She's going to break every single bone in my body, but at least then I won't have to go to St. Gabriel's. Thanks very much.